Seeing you got a bunch of stuff under contract. That's awesome. That's good. Yeah.
Last night it was like,
All right, can you guys hear me online?
I'm very grateful for the ones I got, for sure.
and I was like,
You hear me, Kim? Yeah?
I've got the award for slow.
Okay, good. Oh, I think you're on the TV. Oh, that's why I can't hear you. Let's turn you up a little bit. Say something again, Kim.
She's on mute. Oh.
Good morning.
Hey, there you are. There you are.
Kim, are you wearing your pajamas?
No, I'm fully dressed, but I do have a wet head, so I'm not turning my camera on.
Okay. Just checking.
I think she's lying, but.
Oh,
think
did I actually?
I think she's got her pajamas on.
All right. No handouts today. So, save some paper. Good morning. All right.
good job, Leah.
Good morning.
Let's see.
Did it go down?
There's one in that back in my office when we were sitting there yesterday. We were just sitting there talking and I just started lowering it. I was like, I'm not even pressing anything.
Listen, when we were at our other office, right down the street, it was smaller, and that chair would go, when nobody was around, that chair would go from desk to desk, because somebody would get it and they'd go, I'm not taking this one. They'd switch it.
All right,
Somebody-
guys. We should, you guys can see the PowerPoint, correct?
Well, just, you got your office full?
Yes.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Just want to make sure. And also, if it goes away, it's in Dropbox if you guys want to open it up that way too. So, anyway. All right, we ready to kick this thing off? What time is it? 8:33? No,
8:32, 8:30.
8:32? Cool. So I've got camera recording this time, so that won't be an issue anymore. I think I've got everything figured out technically wise, so I think we're good to go. So, who had I know Rebecca had a win. She put land under contract. That's fantastic. A round of applause. Maybe we can be excited about this guy. Yeah. Abby's got, how many you got under contract? 6, that's fantastic. Danny's got 5 listings coming soon.
Wow.
He just put 1 under contract. I've got a listing coming. Leah, how's things in your world?
Oh, just waiting on photos. Got a listing coming up.
Okay, awesome. Muggs?
Got one listing last week. I got one coming in a month. I got one Fizbo I'm working on right now. to
Awesome.
list. And I've got a Fizbo I'm going to hopefully get under contract and then list her house for sale.
Awesome. How are you?
Finally got that little investment under contract.
Oh, yeah, the problem child, right? Yeah.
And then new listing in Wetumpka and Montgomery in the next 2 weeks.
Good. Donna?
Slow, right?
Slow?
Well, deliberately for me.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I was about to say, you
Yeah.
seem to work a lot. You're at the office as much as I am.
Yeah, I've got some of these trips coming up, and then I've been going through my personal stuff going on, so I've kind of put things on hold, but when I get back, I'm fixing to
Hit
kick
the
it
ground
into
running.
overdrive.
Yeah, gotcha. Guys online, wins? Carolyn, I've seen you had a couple listings, but I know you said you got baby. I forgot. I've got to watch my mouth. I can't have a potty mouth today because Carolyn's got a little one. So, who else had wins? Kim's out things in your.
I'm glad he does it for her little ones.
Yeah, I know.
My little ones, he just lets them fly.
Yeah. Well, they're old. I figured they need to get used to the world. So. But Lily, Carrie, Kim, Carolyn, any wins? What's going on in your guys' world?
Did you say shit? Stop. It's fine. You don't say it.
You guys there?
Mr.
Hello?
Kid.
The kids that are obsessed with her skull.
Oh my God.
Let me make sure.
Jada wears her sweatshirt.
You guys still hear me?
They are.
Oh, Lily's working. Okay, I see her okay. She's participating silently. Okay, all right, well.
Lyle, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
We can't hear you. Oh, man.
Oh no.
That's why they were frozen.
You're
and
frozen.
you-
Oh, we've been struggling with internet.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna keep talking real quick. Sing me a song real quick.
Carolyn, Greg's,
Can you?
he thought
She
it was
can't hear
because
you.
she
Can you hear me now?
I was gonna say she can't hear.
Yeah,
Did it freeze
Sign
again?
language?
Did it freeze again?
Who is that talking?
Sound like Kim.
Kim.
Oh no.
Maybe don't kill me, I forgot my check for the billboard. Of course. I'll give it to you.
All right, I think it's PowerPoint that's messing things up, so I'm gonna exit out of that presentation real quick, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to slide you guys around the TV, but open it up on Dropbox and you can kind of follow along that way. So,
Yeah, you're on mute.
oh, my bad, guys, my bad. My bad, I got it, I'm so sorry.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Kim, thank you. Let's try this again, Hold on.
No, Brittany, that's all right.
We're gonna get this worked out.
She left.
Is she going around to the back?
I don't know.
I'll go.
All right. Kim, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. The last thing we heard was problem child.
Oh, whoops. Okay. Yeah. You can.
And then it froze, and then after it wasn't frozen, we didn't have audio.
Okay, I think that was me, but you can still hear me, and all you guys can see the PowerPoint now, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I think we're good to go. So we're running out of time. Real quick, any big wins in your world, Kim? Listings, closings, personal wins, anything like that?
I do have one under contract. We got the home inspection back just a few minutes ago, so I've got to go through that.
Well, good.
And then I'll have a listing this weekend.
Fantastic. Awesome. All right, so last week we talked, we went over the mark report, all that stuff. Second week of every month is kind of true sales training. We kind of dive in deep. One thing that was mentioned last month that I feel like was kind of hit home with everybody was something about fundamentals, right? So something about getting back to the basics, making calls, following up with your people. I think the helpful tidbit was something like, believe it or not, people actually want to hear from you, right? That's what it was. And so with all of that being said, I thought, why not give a reminder of back to the basics, okay? So I love this quote, get the fundamentals down, the level of everything you do will rise. What that means is if you have a uneven, soft, weak foundation, right? If you build up, it's just a matter of time before it comes falling down, right? Blocking and tackling in football wins games. If you can't throw a ball and you can't catch a ball, it's really tough to play baseball. You may have everything else figured out, but if you don't have the fundamentals, it's super tough to get the ball rolling, okay? So I figure, why not start off with the business we're in, which is real estate sales. The hardest, easiest job in the world, right? There's a lot of people in this room been in it for a very long time. And it's what we do on paper is super easy. We open up doors, we put signs in the yard, we get contracts, we negotiate them, and then we take pictures at the closing table.
Really?
Yeah, but on paper, that's what we do, right? But we all know it's super hard. It's super emotional, it's high stress, it's all the stuff, right? So it's a reminder that you're not in it alone, right? Like everyone struggles, everyone has tough times, but if we get back good to the fundamentals, that's really where all the magic happens, okay? So this is what the majority of people think of when they hear the word sales, right? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you say? Yeah, sleazy car salesman. You know, Leah, what do you think of?
Sleazy car salesman.
Sleazy car salesman, okay. Sleazy cars, someone who wants me to buy something, don't talk to me. You know, that's as soon as you run into a salesperson, that's what you really run into, right? But we all know that's not it. So I want to share with you my definition of sales, okay? My definition of sales is all about communication. That's really what it is, okay? And so how many of you have been to one of the plentiful Mexican restaurants? We've all been there, right? Okay, all right, cool deal, yeah. You open up, you go there, the table's kind of sticky, there may be a communication gap, there may be something along those lines, right? It's kind of, it's uneasy, probably you finally get there, the chips are real stale because they're a couple weeks old, what have you, right? And when you go down to the menu, pretend it's the first time you've ever been to this Mexican restaurant, okay? The menu always looks something like this. Tons and tons and tons of choices. And they're all kind of the same. They all, except you can get shredded beef, grilled chicken, regular beef. I don't know what the difference is between shredded and ground, and all the stuff, right? But everything's kind of the same. There's just a lot of choices, right? And so you make your decision, okay? Make your decision on what you're going to get, and then you're waiting on your food, but you see, the fajita sizzling come by, right? Well, now all of a sudden, are you even sure of the choice you made?
Squirrel.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, squirrel. Have we all been to fine dining before? We have? Yeah? Okay. We'll make sure everybody's here.
He's shaking his head no.
Danny hasn't had a biscuit before, so Danny can't be in this conversation, right? He's from Wisconsin. It's just tough. But yeah. So
He has now. He
yeah.
has
So,
now.
but we've all been to fine dining, right? We've all been to fine dining. So when you walk in, they maybe take your coat. You're dressed up nice. They greet you by your first name because you have reservations. They sit you down. They pour you water without asking, right? And then they give you a menu. The menu always looks something like this. Very, very, very few choices, right?
With no prices on them.
No prices, yeah. Because why? It's all about
Hungry.
experience, and that's what
Right.
you're there for, right?
Right.
And speaking of experience, which one's a better experience?
Mexican.
What? Well, all right. Muggs is out of the equation too. Muggs and Danny, no more, right? No more. Okay.
Kennedy's out.
Which one? But which one's the better experience? Seriously.
Fine dining.
Fine dining,
Yeah.
right? So this is my metaphor for sales, right? This is what it is. So I want you to remember these two scenarios. Sales is not a dirty word. It's taking someone by the hand, walking them through the fog of all the possibilities until you reach the other side where it's clear and they can confidently make a decision. That's what you're doing. So going back to the Mexican restaurant, right? Most of the time when you deal with buyers, most of the time when you deal with sellers, they're always uneasy, uncertain, right? It's because they have all of these different variables. They have all of these different scenarios. They've read all of these different headlines and horror stories and all this stuff. Our job is to start taking that Mexican restaurant menu and taking some choices off of it, right? You can only start taking choices off when you have trust with them, right? That's what taking them by the hand really is, right? You build trust and then you start asking them questions and figure out their situation. And if you talk to someone, it's like, hey, I'm allergic to beef. Well, okay, half the menu's gone, right? Half the menu's gone. We can't do any of that. Well, I really like flour tortillas versus corn tortillas. No problem. So another quarter of the page is gone. We continue to ask questions until we really, really figure out what it is they want. And we lead them through the fog of all those variables, and then we get them to the other side to where they have just a couple different options, a couple different choices, and they can confidently choose. That's sales. That's really what sales is. Sales is not convincing somebody to do anything. It's figuring out what their situation is, truly understanding them, listening to their problems, their dreams, their hopes, their desires, and then giving them choice in what they're trying to do. That's what sales is, okay? Our job is to understand their needs and wants. We do that by asking questions. Only then can we start walking them through the fog. Once they narrow it down to two choices, only then can they make a decision, okay? So what a great salesperson is, because that's what we're all striving to be, right? We want to be great salespeople. You ask the right questions to put them in a position where they can actually answer the question. Excuse me, I had a lot of coffee today. You understand and remind them of what they truly want. Donna, I know you've been in a situation where they get maybe cold feet after the home inspection or the final walkthrough, and then what do? You remind them, right? You remind them of what their motivation is. You remind them of the fact that they need to be in Texas by a certain date to see their grandchildren open up Christmas gifts. Right?
Right.
That's what you remind them of. You remind the first-time home buyers that this isn't a purchase, this is an investment. I know it may be scary, but at the end of the day, this is for your future. And we've already ran through all the scenarios and we know this is the best option. That's the reminding part, right? People ask us, we're real estate advisors is really what we are. We advise people and we remind them. You provide a solution to what they want and need. That's really what it is, and you can only do that by asking questions. Sales is not about selling a product, it's about solving a problem for your customer. That's said it by the man Zig Ziglar, right? He's been doing it for years, but he's super knowledgeable. Look up to him in a lot of different ways. He's got some great quotes too, and I love
In a nutshell, right there.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it is, solving a problem for your
Problem
customer.
solvers.
Exactly. Okay, so I want to get a real world example. We've all been here, okay? You are showing a house to a family, the kids are running their fingers, nasty, dirty little fingers all over the walls, they're opening up cabinets, breaking doors. The dads or the husband's pissed because he doesn't want to be looking at 10, 12, 15 houses, whatever it is. You go through the house, and then what do you ask them? Throw it out. What do you ask them?
What do you think?
What do you think? Yeah.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons?
Can
Okay.
you see yourself living here?
You've been to a sales meeting or two. Yeah, so the average salesperson question is, what do you think? Right? But I can ask each of you guys, what do you think of this? We can take those not the real estate agents, we can take those home buyers to Walmart and we can ask them what they think. and we can get an answer. We can take them to the office and ask them what they think of the office and get an answer. But we've all been in a room where they start saying, oh my gosh, the couch would fit right here. Oh my goodness, the Christmas tree would look great through that window and we can show it off to the neighbors.
That comes down to what I ask is, what are your wants and what are your needs?
What are your wants and what are your needs, right?
It's so big because they can look with their eyes wide open, but what do you really need?
Exactly. But like when they start placing out furniture, what are they really doing, right?
Moving in.
They're
Yeah.
moving in. They're picturing themselves living there. So why not lead with that question? Can you see yourself living here? Why not lead with the most powerful question? Because really what it is what you're doing is you're cutting down the time frame of walking through the fog. That's the power of asking the right questions. Because if they can picture themselves living there, well, you're not asking about the paint color or how big the kitchen is. We can give opinions on that all day long, but could you see yourself living here? Because then they'll be honest with you. And most buyers lie, right?
They all.
No, yeah, they all do. Thank you, Donna. Thank you. I just want to make sure we're all here and we've done this before. Buyers lie. We've all heard it before, right? Because they tell you what they want to be in Prattville, but they send you homes in Millbrook, right? They tell you they have to have a 4-bedroom, but they send you a 3-bedroom because they can make it work.
Why do
Right?
you think I color my hair?
Exactly.
Because they drive me crazy.
Oh yeah. It's coming
And it
in
made my
strong,
gray hair
coming in strong.
Yeah.
But that's really what it is, right? So we need to lead with the proper questions. And what it does is allows us to serve the clients better. We're removing the variables. We're taking them through the fog. We're taking the choices and the options and the different scenarios and the unknowns off the list when they're making the biggest purchase of their life. That's what we're doing. So, we're all in real estate sales, which means we are all, and by the way, guys, lots of information here, okay? So, but that's just kind of what I do, right? And so I'm slowing it down a little bit, but we're gonna go over a couple different high points. But we're all in real estate sales, which means we're all business owners, whether we want to admit it or not. We all own a business, regardless of where your license is hung, regardless of what you think you're doing, you own a business. The reality is most real estate agents fail or struggle is because they come from a W-2 background. Someone told them what to do, when to show up, when to take lunch, when to do all the stuff, and then they get into real estate sales and now they're the boss. They've never been the boss before. They've never had to make decisions. They never had to plan. They never had to prioritize. But that's the reality of what we're doing. We're business owners. Okay? What do all successful businesses have in common? They have a plan. They have hours of operation. Imagine if Walmart was open sometimes and sometimes not. Imagine if Publix was, Chick-fil-A gets away with being closed on Sundays, but that's because it's the Lord's chicken. Bad example, right? But you get what I'm saying? Everyone has normal hours of operation, right? Because it's predictable. It's because it's a business. They have a budget, right? They absolutely have a budget. They also have a marketing department, right? Oh. And they also have high accountability. They understand priorities. That's the reality of a business, okay? Now, what do most realtors do? They wake up and have no plan. They wake up and see where the day takes them. They wake up and wait for somebody to call them, right? They work when they feel like it. That's the reality of it, right? Most agents do. Budget, never heard of it. Never heard of it. They spend the commission check before they get it. Every single time, right? Most.
And you
okay?
better not do
Yeah.
that.
Facebook and Instagram posts once a month. That's their marketing. And they wonder why people don't call them, right? The market is bad, can't sell houses. It's always somebody else's fault. Always, 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 always. Prioritize the perfect social media caption over calling a client back. I've been guilty of that. Like straight up, okay? So 87% of realtors do not have a business plan. That is a true NAR statistical fact. So if you want to be in the top 13%, just have a business plan. That puts you in the top 13% of realtors, okay? Most realtors can't spell schedule. They can't. They don't wake up consistently. They don't do anything, right? But we all just wonder what a successful business looks like. So why wouldn't we implement that into our daily, like our business? We're doing something and expecting the results, but like it just doesn't make sense when you really put pen to paper to it, right? So success is all about consistency around the fundamentals. That's really all it is. 99% of your problems can be fixed with a schedule. If you don't have time, it's because you don't have good time management. That's the reality of what it is. Either that or you don't have your priorities right. That's all it is. A schedule fixes 99% of that, okay? Budgeting in your business, okay? This is just a quick little thing. Simple. This is what my first real estate coach taught me my second year, my second year in sales. Okay, it's the easiest way to don't go broke. And I'm sure you guys, there's some veterans here, so gloss over this information, but it's super helpful for me. It's a 3-account system. Okay, break your account into 3 accounts. Agent account, 10% of your gross commission goes to that. Right, that's where you use your marketing, your business expenses, all the fun stuff. You have a second account called the tax account. 20% of your commission goes into that. Period. And you don't touch it. You don't have that money except once a year, or maybe you're really good at what you do and you make quarterly payments. That's awesome, you know? Yeah. And then the third is your personal account. This is where you pay your mortgage and buy boats and watches and gifts for Carol, Don, Blake, and Marlo. That's your spending money, is that third account. The first 2 never go to mortgage. They never go to paying your car note. They never go to anything besides marketing and business expenses or saving for taxes. If you do that, it's very, very hard to go broke in this business. Very, very hard. Just run the numbers. Like that's just I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. Lily, I know you're on here. You're a mathematician. You've probably got it figured out. But this is a super simple rule of thumb, okay? Marketing versus branding. We're just going over the business structure, okay? This is where we're at right now. Marketing is activities a company undertakes to promote the buying or selling of a product or service. That's where you go and find clients, okay? And this is where I think we get a little confused sometimes on our expectations of what we do. Branding is a name, symbol, or other marker that businesses use to distinguish their products from competitors and foster a public identity, okay? Your content on social media, that is branding. Billboard, I would argue that 90% of it is branding. Alexander Shannara there's no, like that, it's just brand building is really what that is, right? So mailers is marketing. We're being specific and going out and trying to get new clients is what we're trying to do. So be very careful when you're, and make sure and know what exactly it is you're doing. That's the whole point of the marketing, okay? So that's kind of a synopsis on the business. Just some back to the basics, some reminders. Hopefully that's helpful, okay? I want to get into now the deep diving of the activities within the business. But the first thing I want to talk about is the 80-20 rule. It's the law of Muggs. I know me and you have talked about it before, but 80-20 rule is universal, okay?
I shared with Lyle. I did a CE class this year online. It was the 80-20 rule goes back to ancient times, actually. Pablo.
Because it's universal. You see 5 people standing on the side of the road, 20% of them are digging, 80% are watching.
State workers, that's like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, probably a bad example. You look on the ranking report, you look at all the houses that's closed and all the agents do selling houses, 20% sell 80% of the houses. 80% of the others sell 20% of the houses. It's just the way it works, okay? Yeah, so what separates the top 20% from the 80%? Ooh. Any takers? Okay.
Schedule.
Yeah. Hey, I like it, Blake. I like it. Yeah. Schedule, right? There is no secret sauce, by the way. There is no secret sauce that separates the top 20%. Okay. The top 20% never stop generating new business. That's all it is. They focus on their business, and they're more consistent than anyone else. That is the only thing that separates the top 28% from the 80%. And that's just a choice. That's a schedule. That's focusing and working on your business. That's all it is. It is not radio. It's not billboards. It's not social media. It's none of those things. They have just done the work more consistently than anyone else. Okay? So, and what are they doing? They're doing the most important thing in real estate. And what is the most important thing in your real estate business?
Closings.
What?
Closings.
Closings? Okay. I like it. All right, so closings. All right, what else we got? Who else has got ideas?
I think it's keeping up with your past clients.
Past clients, okay.
Consistency is one.
Consistency, okay. Consistently closing, that's Muggs' answer. Yeah. Yeah.
Relationships.
Relationships, okay, we're getting there. It's lead generation. That's what it is. That's the most important thing in your business. Muggs, you can't close a house if you don't lead generate. Can't do it. If you have a closing today, you have a lead generate, I can tell you very quickly, make time to lead generate. Send somebody else to that closing, because that's actually the most important thing you can do. is lead generate, because you can't do business without the business. Can't do it. You can't close houses without clients. And so the most important thing we can be doing is getting clients, right? So, what is lead generation?
Not cold calling.
I beg to differ, but anyway, yeah. Lead generation, right? Lead generation is really, really simple, okay? We overcomplicate it, is what we do. We think it's billboards, we think it's radio, we think it's cold calling, we think it's social media, we think it's podcasts, we think it's all of these different things, right? We think it's Zillow leads, realtor leads, all of the stuff, right? Google pay-per-click ads. But all of those things that have in common is they start a conversation with someone who wants to buy or sell real estate. That's truly what lead generation is. That's all it is. So if the most important thing in your business is to lead generate, hands down, I think we all can agree on that, right? If that's the most important thing, and we know it's just having conversations with people who want to buy or sell, now we just have to choose how we want to have those conversations. That's all we have to do. We choose to do it. Yeah, that's it, okay? And so I'm here to tell you that I built my business off cold calling, but cold calling isn't for everybody. Marlo built her business off of holding open houses. Open houses isn't for everybody. Abby built her business off social media. Social media is not for everybody. Muggs, how'd you build your business?
Interaction with groups, home builder.
Networking, all the stuff, right?
Network.
Drains me. I do a lot of it, but it absolutely drains me. I'm good for about 2-3 events in a day. I've done 5 before, and I thought I was going to have a panic attack, right? Just too many people. Donna, how'd you build your business?
Open houses and passing out my business card to everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm talking about cashiers, waiters, you know, wherever.
Yeah. All we did was just talk to people.
Yep.
That's all we did. So when you're...
The home, my Bristol Lane home, I'm closing with Brooke Lucky from local, whatever. Anyways, I asked her, the clients that she representing is the people that own the Japanese restaurant in Wetumpka.
Yeah.
They speak no English, so everything we're having to do, she's having to
translate.
Get it translated. Anyways, and I asked her, how did you get them? She said, I took a goodie bag to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't.
Should have.
I was like, I need to start taking goodie bags.
Yeah. But it's just conversations, guys.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do is have conversations, right?
And
So-
wearing your name tag too.
To start a conversation.
It does. You do real estate?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I wear mine. I don't
Yeah.
have it today because I'm not housing home anymore, so I can't wear it. But
Especially if you wear it upside down.
Yeah.
I've done that too.
Yeah, for sure.
That will cause a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm bad about that.
All right, so there's only 2 types of lead generation, by the way. Okay.
That's fine.
Since we're talking about conversation, there's only 2 ways you can start conversation, okay? Inbound, right? Which is anything that people come to you to have a conversation, right? And normally that costs money. That's the reality of it. So some examples is when you do something that prompts someone to start a conversation with you, 99% of it costs money. And also, inbound normally takes 8 to 18 months for a return on the investment. If you're doing mailers, you're not going to get a result the first 2-3 months. You have to do consistent mailers over a period of time to get them to work, okay? It is a long-term strategy. That's what it is. And inbound lead generation is long-term because on average it takes 8 to 18 months to work, okay? Outbound is unpaid. That's anything that you do to start a conversation with someone. That's cold calling. Ooh, don't do that. Yeah, door knocking, open houses, social media, messaging, right? Going and messaging people, creating conversations that way, okay? 99% of the time, it only requires your time. It's a 1 to 3 month ROI. Danny, when did you start cold calling? Really cold calling?
Probably a month, 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Just got your first listings, right?
Yeah.
That's the numbers always add up. Think about when you first started in real estate and you were doing, Donna, when you were passing out business cards everywhere, if you really started and were considering doing it, it takes about 1 to 3 months to get something, right? Right? And so this is important to understand because if you're in a place in your business where you're trying to build momentum or you're trying to do something with it, being intentional on the activities you choose to get the results that you actually want. So if you're trying to fix your business within 3 to 6 months, mailers probably aren't a good idea. Billboards probably aren't a good idea, right? That's just because that's what it is, right?
If it's out there, I've probably done it.
Yeah. I understand. But it's important to be intentional on what you're doing, right?
Right.
So if you needed to make money in 3 to 4 months from now, would you do billboards?
No.
That's my point. We
I
wouldn't
got
do billboards.
nothing from billboards.
Exactly.
honestly.
Yeah, because it's more brand building, right? It's not marketing, it's branding, right?
It is fun when people go, I saw you on the billboard.
It is fun.
I know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So we only have 2 choices for lead generation, time or money, right? That's really our choices. We either spend money to have conversations or we spend time to go and start conversations. That's really our 2 options here. Cool thing is both strategies work. Inbound examples, internet leads, paid referrals, mailers, billboards, radio, social ads with a call to action if you're boosting that post, sponsoring it with people, sponsoring it on Facebook, Instagram, things like that. Takes on average 8 to 18 months to work. Outbound examples. Ugh, we won't even mention that one. Door knocking, open houses, letter tuck, networking, social messaging, mass texting. Takes on average 1 to 3 months to work. Okay? So if you're in a place in your business and you want it to change, look at these strategies. There's more strategies. These are just some small examples of it, but be intentional on which activities you choose to do. Okay? Be very, very intentional on that. Now, if you want your business to be great next year, do some inbound stuff. But if you want your business to be better by Christmas or January, pick some outbound stuff. That's really what it is, okay?
Lyle, I will tell you on that open house, it's not been popular for a long time. But with the new buyer agency agreements, open houses are gonna start being
You are
big.
100% correct.
Wait and see.
We went over that in the sales meeting. That was like the biggest, I think 2-3 months ago. The biggest opportunity right now is open houses.
When I first got in the business, from January 1st to November 1st,
Yeah.
I did an open house every Sunday. I got a ton of clients.
Have you done them on Thursdays between 3 to 6? That was the best numbers I've ever done. And I think
Really?
you've ever done, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
It was weird. Yeah.
Thursdays are when all the networking events are,
During the
right?
winter.
Thursday is when all the football games, fall festivals, blah, blah, blah. Thursday afternoons. Well, there's a lull time between when they pick the kids up from school and when the event starts.
True, okay.
They're already in the car, they're already dressed, they normally go to the park, why not go to the open house?
Good idea.
Thursdays. Yeah, so
There you go.
anyway. So jack of all trades is a master of none, okay? Remember that. Don't try to do everything. Don't. Don't try to do billboards, mailers, cold calling, door knocking, open houses, none of that. Don't try to do it all, because what you will do is you will exhaust yourself and you will be mediocre at absolute best at maybe half of them. I'm a big believer you wake up with 100% of energy every day, okay? So if I'm pouring my energy into 10 different buckets in a perfect world, and if I'm a perfect person, I get 10% return on each bucket. It takes a long time to get that stuff back, right? The reality is that most people and most, I don't know if it's a social switch or something, everybody's in this multiple streams of income. We think, you know, more is more, and it's not. Talk to any rich or wealthy person, their story always goes that I figured out one thing I was good at, I became excellent at that thing, I built a business around that thing, and then I bought apartment complexes, and then I invested in real estate, then I invested heavy in the stock. It was never, you know, I got the side hustle over here, I had my day job, I was investing in stock on the side, you know, I cut grass too every other week. It's never that. Those people were constantly running around being broke. So with that philosophy, that's a general truth, right? So in our business, when it comes to lead generation, pick 2 to 4 max. Yeah, and be the absolute best at it, okay? 1 to 2 outbound activities that you do every single day, right? Pick something that you do every single day that you go and start conversations with somebody. And then the second one is try to do something once or twice, maybe 3 times a week that you go and start conversations with people, okay? That's the formula. And then outbound activities create, I got that a little bit backwards. Yeah, 1 to 2 outbound activities, 1 to 2 inbound activities. The inbound activities are so you have business in the future. It's where we don't have to work hard constantly all the time. So as you're doing your outbound activities on the daily, you've got mailers running in the background once a week, once a month, whatever. You do social media posts running in the background, right? That way, at 1.5 years, 2 years down the road, you start getting business from that. And it's just it's a cycle. It's a snowball effect is what you're building, okay? Inbound creates your pipeline, outbound activities create the right now business, inbound activities create your pipeline. That's really what you're doing. And I could do a whole sales meeting on the pipeline stuff, but that's just some quick thoughts, okay? Think small to grow big. So we're switching in just understanding on how we market, okay? We all know Taylor Swift. Any Swifties in the room?
No.
Thank God. Okay, all right.
I was very
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Anybody.
I just picked, okay. All right, I'll make a note, no more Taylor Swift. My bad, guys. The room got quiet, okay? So Taylor Swift is nationally known, globally known, all the fun stuff, right? That's Taylor Swift, right? She is probably one in a billion person, right? That can sing, date a football star, whatever she does to get famous. I don't know of anything else about her, to be quite honest with you. So, but, right? It's much easier to be a celebrity in a small town versus a big city. Muggs, I think we've already had this conversation too, right? But that's the reality of it. Become a local celebrity in your market, right? If you're trying to be popular in Alabama, you have to have a marketing budget of Alexander Shannara, and he's got a billboard every half mile to 5 miles. You can't go anywhere in Alabama and not see Alexander Shannara.
That's the truth.
We can't do it, right? But imagine if we were trying to be famous in the big city of Eclectic. Probably a lot easier, right? Mm-hmm. We could get billboards for maybe one billboard, and everybody's going to talk about the one billboard being up there, right? So it's much easier to get famous, okay? And I did an example, okay? And this is an example. I live in downtown Wetumpka, okay? This is an example of niching down. I did a 5-mile radius, and I did this last night. 5-mile radius of all of the houses that have sold in the last year. 141 houses sold within 5 miles of my house, okay? 25% market share would be 35.25 sold homes. How many would like to sell 35 homes a year consistently? All I have to do is focus within a 5-mile radius of my house, and I could walk that. Really, I could get my exercise and my door knocking done all in one day, right? And so it's much cheaper, easier, and more effective to focus on a small area and gain market share than it ever is to try to serve a broader audience. Snipers shoot with snipers. They don't use shotguns, right? It's much more effective to do a smaller, more niche environment. Because what you do is you build up your brand and your recognition of, a great example, Amy Lynn Blake. Everyone know of Amy Lynn? Mm-hmm. Capitol Heights is what you think of Amy Lynn, right?
Right.
She started that 3 or 4 years ago because she lived in that neighborhood and she goes, I'm going to own this neighborhood. Capitol Heights, you wouldn't think of a lot of expensive homes or anything like that. But go look at her production. And I think you'd be shocked of how great it would be to have 25% market share in Capitol Heights. Mm-hmm. That's all she does. That's all she focused on. That. Now, if something else came her way, all of her intentions, all of her activities were around Capitol Heights. Amy Schoen, whatever. When I first got the job, she was the Brookwood lady. If you were selling a house in Brookwood, you probably were going to call Amy Schoen, mm-hmm. right? But that's all she did. She didn't expand anything on that. My point of this is the more focused and niche you are, the more profitable you are. The more results you get from the actions, because what it does is start compounding. If everyone gets a mailer and you start having conversations with people, well, they start having conversations with other people, and all of a sudden you're the celebrity. That's how it works, right? So, something to think about.
And going to that, like, I niche down in Wetumpka. I mean, I know that's not too niche down, but it is. But people will come to me and go, I know you do Wetumpka, but do you also sell homes in Millbrook?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
you can go that way.
They don't deter from you just because they think you're only in this one area. Mm-hmm. So. But
if you had, if you were driving you drive a Chevy, right?
Yeah, basically.
Would you take it to a Mercedes dealership?
For work? No.
No, if you had something to be done. No, you wouldn't take it there, right?
Right.
So, but all the Mercedes people probably wouldn't take it to the Chevrolet dealership, right? So my point in saying that is you gain all of the smallest market share. Mm-hmm. That's really what you're doing by that. By branding yourself to be different and important and an expert, you get the expert reputation of that. You get the expert of Wetumpka, but you also can do Millbrook, right? That's really what it is. Because it is easier to be the best at the most important thing. Oh gosh, I was late last night when I said that. I don't know what we're doing. Anyway, niching down. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to skip past that, guys online. I'm sorry for the wording on that. I don't know. I probably had a good thought. But anyway, yeah, probably had a good thought. But anyway, niching down, local celebrity, all of that fun stuff. I kind of remember where I was going with this now. What you're doing is you're having conversations with a small group of people in an environment, almost like you're radiused out, right? And we are in the relationship business, right? That's why niching down really works, because you start building strong, deeper relationships with all of those people, okay? And that's the most important thing, okay? Sales equals relationships. Now, this is from Mary Kay Ash, but I love this. Pretend that every single person you meet has a sign around his or her neck that says, make me feel important. Not only will you succeed in sales, you will succeed in life. Nothing could be truer from that. What hit home last week at the sales meeting was the fact that people actually want to hear from us. And it was a story about the doctor calling on you, right? That's what resonated with a lot of people in the room, I felt like. That's what you do. You just make people feel important and valuable. That's your sphere. That's something you cannot get away from. You have to do that in this business. The more relationships you have, the more business you're going to have. That's the reality of it. So, another way to look at this is, who is your biggest supporter? Rebecca, who's your biggest supporter? Did we do this together the other day? No. Who's your biggest supporter? This will be fun.
My husband.
Your husband? Okay. All right. Let's walk through this. How often do they shout your name?
A lot.
A lot. Well, okay. I probably should have worded that question a little bit. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have. Yeah.
This went south fast.
This went south.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that was Kim. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. But anyway, how often do they shout your name to people that say, I need help with real estate?
That's where I was going. We're all, you're gutter.
I know, yeah. Rebecca's a good wife. She's great. That's where we were really going with this, okay? Yeah, so they shout a lot, right? They shout a lot. How many people do they connect you with, do you think? How many people do you think he's really like? Think about that number. You don't have to answer.
A couple, actually.
Yeah, a couple.
One right now.
Yeah, just recently, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So then that turns into how much business they give you, right? That's really what it is. Now imagine you had 20 to 30 of those people. Imagine you had 20 to 30 people that you had a strong relationship with, that when they heard the word real estate, they shouted your name. Imagine that. Your 1 to 2 they got, right, recently would turn into, we'll just use 20, would turn into 20 or 40. That's what working your sphere looks like. It's building and deepening the relationships with people to where you build connections with them, you tell them you care about them, and then they support you and you make sure they know they're valuable, right? Wouldn't it be worth it to make sure they knew you cared about them? Wouldn't it be worth it? And also, don't they deserve it? Don't they deserve a thank you? Don't they deserve more than a Christmas card every year? Don't they deserve 4 phone calls a year? Don't they deserve a pop by? Don't they deserve to be taken to lunch? Because if these people are supporting you, you owe them.
Do you do that, Rebecca?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, lay off on Rebecca. She's great to her husband. Yeah.
He doesn't get thank you cards.
Yeah. But it's a different perspective of looking at your sphere. It's a different perspective of taking care of your clients. A different perspective of building relationships. Because that's really what we're trying to do, right? But you got to make sure they know that you care about them. It is that simple. Okay? Shifting gears real quick. When times get tough, and that's kind of the season we're in right now. Wouldn't you agree? People scared me on there. Yeah. So we got election year. We talked about that. New listings, buyer activities dropped off, all this stuff, right? So it's just tougher times right now. But when people are getting out, it's time to get in, right? That's really what happens, where everyone sees it as a problem. It's actually an opportunity, okay? So when times get tough is when you really want to double down. That's the reality. Because if you only go in when the times are good, now you have so much more competition, right? And so a thought is, and this, I try to be visual with everything I do because it's easier for me and that's how I understand things. Excuse me. The cost of market share has never been so cheap, okay? So We'll call this our market right now, okay? Buyer activity's down, inventory's down, all the stuff, it's election year, just tough. Closings are down, all the fun stuff, right? So, but let's imagine we started at the yellow, okay? But in a down market, we grew to the green, okay? We doubled our market share, so instead of doing, you know, let's say 10 closings a year, we bumped it up to 20 a year, okay? In a down market. But when the market gets better, that's really what happens. So all of your efforts and all of your time, energy, and effort should really be in a down market because it's easier to gain market share. Gaining market share here is much tougher. Everyone following that, the opportunity of that?
Yeah.
Because that's really what we need to be focused and like excited about right now, is the fact that the market is tough. The fact that we could be the ones with the answers. We could be the ones providing solutions. We are the skilled, valuable, expert agents. That's what we bring to the table. All the other realtors just know how to put a sign in the yard. We know how to sell houses. We know how to bring buyers, but we can help buyers get their dream home, not their second, third, fourth, or fifth favorite home. That's what we can do. And by doing that, you go from here to here, and then you wait on the market, and you get here just happenstance, because the market fixes that for you. Okay? That excites me. So, yeah. So, how do agents consistently stay on top? Okay? It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It's the ones that is most adaptable to change. That's Charles Darwin. That's the reality. If you pay attention to your business, you know when to shift. Right? If, you know, when the 2008, 9, 10, 11, I talked to agents, and there's agents in the room that have been there, they had some of their best years in 10, 11, 12, and 13, when the market was at its absolute lowest, because they saw it coming, and all they did was shift. They went from the people that were investing or whatever it is and flipping houses and all that fun stuff to the actual true investors that saw the heck of an opportunity to buy these big developments and just make lots of money in a couple years. And they were just able to shift their gears and their intentions and their activities from the normal buyers and sellers to the investors. And they had phenomenal years. Melanie Bailey, I think there's some people in the room that know who that is, but she was one of those people I talked to. I had about an hour-long conversation with her. That's what she did. All she did was pay attention. And she shifted.
Pivot.
Pivot.
That's
Yeah.
my word, pivot.
Yeah. So when change happens, they didn't blame the market. They didn't get out of the business. They simply adjusted. That's what they did. Right? That's 100% what it is. Housing is a necessity, not a commodity. That's one thing we have to remember in our business. It is a necessity. There's homeless people out there the government's trying to put in houses. It is a necessity. Everyone believes it's a necessity. It's not like new cars. It's not like, you know, when times get tough, I'm going to go buy a beater and drive around or whatever it is, right? I have to have 4 walls and a roof. Have to. Some type of sort of 4 walls and a roof, okay? So the 6 Ds are recession-proof your sales. And I know we've all heard them, right? Death, divorce, dependence, downsizing, deployment, dividends.
Diapers.
Diapers.
Dependence.
Depends. Yeah. So.
That works too.
And the important thing to remember is you determine how many conversations you have, because that's really the name of this game. Like that, in a nutshell, what we're doing here is just you determine how many conversations you have, okay? You determine how often you follow up with leads, and you determine how consistent you are. It's a constant choice that only you can make. Regardless, the market does not determine your paycheck. It really doesn't. It may determine how tough it is to get a paycheck, but it doesn't determine your paycheck. Really, really doesn't. We all, going back to the market share thing, we realize that the best opportunity to gain market share and grow your business is in a down market. So it just makes sense to work a little harder when it is harder. This should be inspiring. Yeah, should make you happy. So, how to win in an uncertain market? You just get back to the basics, okay? And I'm gonna go to the 3 fundamentals that a lot of people teach, okay? It's time, skill, exposure. Those are the 3 fundamentals of your business. Okay, of your real estate sales business. Time. You don't get to choose how much time you put in, you get to choose when to put in time, okay? So if it takes 1,000 hours to be successful in real estate, to build your success in real estate, your business successfully, you can choose to have 10 years of time put in to build up to that 1,000 hours, or you can choose to put that 1,000 hours in 6 months. It's a choice. That's all it is. It's a choice. 80% of realtors fail within the first 3 years because not enough time put into the business and the right activities, because they don't understand, like going back to the fundamentals of lead generation, right? They focus on the long-term stuff or whatever it is. They don't do the things that actually work, right? So, and again, what if someone followed you around last week with a camera? Are you putting the time in on the right activities? Hold yourself to a higher standard. And then skill. Skill is the fundamentals of that. That's what creates sales. And skills is just being able to communicate. The higher your skills, the higher dollar per hour you make. That's the reality, because then your conversion rate comes up, then you know who to talk to, when to talk to them, how to talk to them, right? You don't waste the time. So now it may have taken you 20, 30 hours to get a client. Well, now all of a sudden, since your skills are higher, it takes you 15. So now when you work 30 hours, you're getting paid twice as much money, okay? Sales is a learned skill. Do not think that if you don't have the personality of a social butterfly, you can't do this. Sales is just decisions and being better. Like, it's a learned skill. And sales is 90% communication, and 86% of communication is listening / nonverbal. Because most of the time, your non-butterfly people are the absolute best buyer and seller agents. Like they're absolutely the best agents because they don't run their mouth. All they do is listen. And that's what people really want. People want to be heard. People want to know that you care about them. And the best way for people to know that you care about them is to listen to them. That's it. That's the skill. That's the secret sauce of communication. It's just freaking listening. It's nothing more important than that. Okay? And then also lastly is exposure. Okay? These are a lot of the big major brands out there, right? So the way I view exposure is if you're at a party, right, and you're single and you're looking to mingle, okay, and everybody's out on the dance floor, everybody's over here talking and stuff like that, and you're in the corner of the room, you're probably not going to get talked to, right? And you're probably not going to have the conversations, right? We have to put ourselves out there. We have to have conversations. You cannot get away from it. It's not the most skilled real estate agent that wins, it's the one with the most exposure. So most exposure and the most conversations, the most relationships, the most branding, the most market share, however you want to look at it, there's all kinds of different perspectives, the way to look on it, but you can't get away from not being seen. People have to know you're in this business, and they have to know you and know that you do real estate. That way when they think of real estate, they think of you. That's the exposure side of it. Get top of mind, stay top of mind, and be the celebrity. Celebrity, yeah, however you're supposed to say that. So, all right, so lead generation that works. This is something to think about. You can push a square box or you can push a ball, right? That's just, like that's the reality of it. And so wouldn't it make the most sense to, like if this represents the different activities we do or the different things that we do in our business, to only do the stuff that's easier to do, that gets you further along? So the two most profitable things you can do in your business, and I don't know if there's anything else, because this is the most two profitable, is list houses and show houses. Those are the two most profitable things you can do, right? Next to that is getting the people to list houses and show houses to, and have the conversations, right? But, so NAR stats for average working time between the two is sellers is 8 hours and buyers is 32 hours. That's the average working time, okay? So if you're doing marketing and you're having conversations with a lot of people, or you're doing all of your inbound and outbound lead generation activities, and they're all geared towards buyers, these square boxes, wouldn't it make sense to shift it to a seller? Because what's the fastest way to get a buyer? Put a sign in the yard. They call you. They call you every single time. Put a sign in the yard. That's it. So be intentional on what we're doing. We've all heard the saying, list to last, but that's really what it means by that, is that if you have the product, if you have the inventory, people come to you for it to buy it, right? And so if we're trying, it just makes more sense instead of going after the buyers to go after the sellers. It just financially, business-wise, time-wise, it just makes sense. Not saying we don't work with buyers, just makes sense to intentionally go after them. There is no problem in your real estate business that can't be solved with simply having more signs in the yard. It is that simple.
Make sure you got a listing agreement.
Oh yeah, sorry. Danny, don't run through a neighborhood putting up your signs, man. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. I actually know of 2 agents that are doing that right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I do. And I
Joe's putting signs up?
Mm-hmm.
What,
Yep,
ask
they have
the
no
people?
listing agreement because I know the owners of the property.
Yep.
So they just
most
ask
part- yeah.
permission?
People do it.
Yeah. I didn't mean to sidetrack us, but there's a lot of people that do questionable things. So,
Question was an understatement.
yeah, illegal things. We'll leave it at that. So, to wrap things up, I think success is not fancy. Okay, that's the reality of this. You follow any top producer around, what they do is not fancy. It's not theatrical. It's not bright and shiny. It's not any of that. It's Jim Rome. We all heard of him, sales guy. Yeah, another one of the greats, right? Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals. That's all it is. It is really that simple, right? It's not easy, but it is that simple is what makes this business. So my final thoughts is stop complicating a simple business, okay? As a reminder of back to the basics, right? We all know how to do this business. We all know how to have conversations. We know who to talk to. We just got to make the decision to do that, right? Consistency always wins. It doesn't matter how much marketing dollars, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. You show up every single day, like you will outpace them. That's just the reality of it. It's not how many people you talk to in a day, it's how many days you spent talking to people. That's really what it is, okay? And this is kind of my thing, is that the more conversations is equals the more relationships you have, okay? The more relationships you have is the more success you will have in your business. The more success you have, the faster you can start living out the life you want. And when you don't feel like keeping the promises you made to yourself, remind yourself why you started. So next time you want to sleep in, or next time you decide to put lead generation to a side, or next time you say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, or next time you say, I'm going to do it next week or next month, or whatever it is, remind yourself of your why. My why is to do the fun things with the great people in my life. That's why I get up every day. That's why I do what I do. That's why I try to work so hard and do all the stuff, right? Is because I want to have fun with the fun people in my life. That's what I want to do. I want to have great experiences. I don't want to leave anything in this life like left. I don't want to do that. I want it to be as full as possible. And that's what I think about when I get here at 7 or 7:30, when I don't want to call this angry client that I know is going to cuss at me. Like, I just don't want to do it. But I remind myself of why I do these things. I know for a lot of you, it's probably friends, family, or not friends. Yeah, we got good friends. They get enough from us. But family, children, spouses, leaving a legacy, whatever it is. But figure out your why. And it makes the conversations a little easier. So hopefully this was helpful, a reminder of some of the basic stuff. So helpful? Good stuff?
Good.
Okay, all right. Never want to waste anybody's time. So exit out of here. And before we get off, I nailed it, 9:28. Nailed it. Guys on the call, do you guys, let me stop sharing my screen so I can see you. Let's see. Oh, my camera's off too. Oh man, well, hopefully everybody got that. Yeah. Any questions, you guys? Any final thoughts? Hey, Kim. Oh, you're not up there. You're still here. Yeah.
Yeah, that camera, but anyway, I appreciate this. This is good stuff.
Oh, well, I'm glad. I
know
Yeah.
it took a lot of time for you to throw this together, so I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you're more than welcome. Yeah. Like I don't know everything by a long shot. Like, I'm trying to learn every single day. But I just want to help you guys. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to try to help you guys grow. Like, so, our mission statement is to uplift and support real estate professionals so they can truly have the profitable and meaningful businesses that supports their lives and dreams.
Good stuff.
Thank you. A brokerage that works for the agent. That's what we're here to do. So, and that's what you've been getting out of Carol. That's what Carol's going to continue to do. Like, that's what we're going to do. And so, and the basics and the fundamentals is. Sometimes for me, I even need a good reminder of it. And so when it hit home, like it seemed to, the helpful tidbit, I was like, that's what we're going to talk about. So.
Well, when you stop learning, then you need to get out of the business.
Correct.
Because you can learn every day from somebody.
If you think you're the best, you can't get better.
That's right.
So.
We all can learn, no matter how long we've been in the business.
Absolutely. So, all right. We'll call it at 9:29. I'm a minute early.
Hey.
Never thought that was going to happen. So.
Susan's on there 4 times.
Do what? Huh?
Susan's on there 4 times.
Susan, how in the world are you on here 4 times?
I saw that. I wasn't listening.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's impressive. I
She
don't,
really wants to be here.
Hey, I kept losing you and I would try to go back.
man, that's impressive.
Yeah.
All right.
My screen would go blank, so I just.
Oh, man.
It works.
That's fun. Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
No. If we ever need like a goal for head count, I'm calling you. If like, let's get you. All right, guys. Well, you have a great day. If you need anything, if I can help anything, just give me a shout. So, talk to you guys soon. Yeah.
Except not this week while you're on vacation, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh. See ya. All right. So. Anyway. All right. So I'm gonna stop the recording real
One
quick.
quick thing.
Yeah.
I forgot to say something last week. So with all this new stuff that we gotta deal with, some of y'all have heard about Colorado, y'all's heard at the meeting,